And guys, I'm starting to think you're in a cult.
That is House Democrat Eric Swalwell torching House Republicans. At a Judiciary Committee hearing featuring Attorney General Merrick Garland, Swalwell portrayed GOP committee lawmakers as lunatic cult members for their claims the Justice Department has conspired with state prosecutors against Donald Trump.
My colleagues, none of this today that you are bringing makes sense. Your inconsistencies, your hypocrisy, your sycophancy, unless you are in a cult. And guys, I'm starting to think you're in a cult. That is your right, but it's not your responsibility. I promise you that's not what your constituents would want. So if you believe in states' rights, except when a jury in that state convicts your nominee for president, you might be in a cult. If you claim you back the blue but want to defund the police when the police go to your nominee's house to retrieve national security secrets, you might be in a cult. If you're supporting a guy whose felony convictions prevent him from getting a security clearance, you might be in a cult. And if the guy you're supporting for president has felony convictions that prevent him from going to Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Cambodia, Canada, Chile, China, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Egypt, Ethiopia, Hong Kong,
my motion
India,
takes precedent.
Indonesia, Iran, Ireland, Israel, Japan, Kenya, Macau, Malaysia, Mexico, Morocco, Nepal, New Zealand, Peru, Philippines, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, Taiwan, Tanzania, Tunisia, Turkey, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, and the UK,
the gentleman from Kentucky is recognized for 5 minutes.
At the start of the hearing, Attorney General Garland said directly that the Trump and Republican claims were false, and he belittled them as conspiracy theories.
That conspiracy theory is an attack on the judicial process itself. It comes as individual career agents and prosecutors have been singled out just for doing their jobs. It comes as baseless and extremely dangerous falsehoods are being spread about the FBI's law enforcement operations. And it comes at a time when we are seeing heinous threats of violence being directed at the Justice Department's career civil servants.
Republican Matt Gaetz dismissed the concerns and said it's the Justice Department's responsibility, not GOP lawmakers, to tamp things down.
Attorney General, you've told us that it's a dangerous conspiracy theory to allege that the Department of Justice is communicating with these state and local prosecutions against Trump. You can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fani Willis's office and Letitia James's office?
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that. The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
I don't need a history lesson? What a jerk. Also, it's not history, Matt, it's basic civics. The Justice Department prosecutes in federal court. New York DA Alvin Bragg and Georgia DA Fani Willis prosecute in state and local courts.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own decisions.
The question is whether you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them, and will you provide those communications?
If you make a request, we'll refer it to our Office of Legislative Affairs.
But see, here's the thing. You come in here and you lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about. Now, you were a judge, once nominated the highest court in our country. When you were a judge, I'm just curious, did you ever make political donations to partisan candidates?
No.
No, and you didn't because that would create the potential appearance of impropriety.
I didn't because there's a federal rule barring federal judges from making contributions.
Right, but under that same theory of attacks on the judicial process, like, shouldn't someone be owed like a jury of their peers and a judge that's non-biased rather than getting a judge from your political opponent's donor file?
I'm well aware that you're not asking a hypothetical. You're asking me to comment on a jury verdict in another jurisdiction which has to be respected.
Also, for the record, Judge Merchan's political donation was $20 for a t-shirt. And unlike federal court judges, state court judges do not face the same restrictions. In any case, after Matt Gaetz tried repeatedly and failed to get Attorney General Garland to weigh in on the Trump conviction, Gaetz left the hearing room. And that was too bad, because Democrat Steve Cohen of Tennessee used his questioning of Garland to remind everybody that Matt Gaetz got a pass from the Justice Department.
I noticed Mr. Gaetz, who took you on first, is not here now. And that's unfortunate because he is living testament to the fact and direct evidence that you have not weaponized the Justice Department. He was investigated for sex trafficking, and while many expected a prosecution, you chose not to prosecute this very active Republican. Is that true? You did not prosecute him?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what is in the public record and what's not, so I'm just not going to comment on that.
Congressman Cohen then torpedoed the Republican claims about weaponization by noting the Justice Department is prosecuting Democrats.
As far as weaponization of the department goes, did the Justice Department indict Senator Menendez?
It's a matter of public record, yes.
And he's a Democrat, isn't he?
I'm assuming the answer is yes.
And Henry Cuellar, Justice Department indicted him. He's a Democrat too, isn't he?
It's a matter of public record.
So you've prosecuted Democrats, and as we speak, Hunter Biden, who is the son of the president, is under trial in Delaware. And so you haven't weaponized the Justice Department in terms of hiding and protecting Democrats Menendez, Cuellar, and Hunter Biden.
The Justice Department follows the facts and the law. We prosecute like cases alike, and we make decisions about different cases in different ways. We do not allow the political party or the ethnicity or the religion or the race or the wealth or the influence of someone we're investigating to make a difference in our charging decisions.
Most Republicans, I'm sure, know that. But because Donald Trump is claiming selective prosecution and political lawfare, Republicans feel the need to keep kissing Donald Trump's ass by promoting his nonsense even in House hearings. The spectacle, of course, is ugly and absurd, but that's how things keep going in today's GOP. There is no logic, no integrity, no intellectual honesty. Instead, the GOP keeps spewing absolute nonsense and hopes that GOP voters do not actually die from the cult-like Kool-Aid. Unlike the pandemic, where a lot of people did die because of the Republican advice, I suppose the worst thing that can happen now is that Republican voters get increasingly frustrated and angry and lose even more faith in our institutions of government, including the courts. But burning everything down, figuratively and perhaps literally, is the Trump GOP agenda, and it does have its own cost. All cults come with a cost to members who get sucked in and fall out of society. And unfortunately, common sense, logic, and basic facts are not enough for MAGA world interventions. The MAGA cult is simply too far gone. How sad. By the way, Donald Trump, a convicted felon, is now getting brutally mocked.
Donald Trump is getting even crazier. When I say crazier, I mean angrier, more unmoored from reality.
That is MSNBC's Morning Joe reacting to Donald Trump's description of his New York criminal trial.
All these salacious names that they put in of these people, and I'm not even allowed to defend myself.
Trump was allowed to defend himself, but he chose not to testify. And now that Trump has been convicted on 34 felony charges,
the judge could decide to say, hey, house arrest or even jail.
It
How
could.
do you face what that could look
I'm okay with it. That could happen. I don't know that the public would stand it, you know. I'm not sure the public would stand for it. With a
if they tried house arrest or
I think it would be tough for the public to take. You know, at a certain point there's a breaking point.
that sounded like a call for MAGA mass protests and perhaps violence like January the 6th. And what about Trump's claims of being okay with jail time?
So two things. Number one, no, he does not want to go to jail, and he's not okay with going to jail. There is nothing about his makeup that is. I understand that he feels like he has to say that because he believes in not showing any weakness. But no, he doesn't want to go to jail, and I don't know anybody who actually wants to go to jail.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from JJ2313, who wrote, "Lock his ass up. Shows no respect for the rule of law. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about the Republican House hearing getting derailed by Democrats who revealed the GOP sycophancy. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.